Hello, and again for the second part of the tutorial on creating tracks for the Karters 2, modded tracks, of course. So now we are going to look at colliders. So to explain pretty quickly what the wiki actually says is that all those, you can see the map and you can see the environment and everything, are meshes, which are simply visual and they don't actually act as colliders, which mean we can't put a cart on it. It will just fall indefinitely. So we will need to add some colliders to be able to have our cart collide with the map and actually play the game. There are multiple types of colliders, which are ground colliders, wall colliders, flat respawn colliders, and always respawn colliders. So we'll start for the easiest one, always respawn collider, which means that if the cart touches it, it will instantly respawn, like you'll get grabbed by the robot. The flat respawn collider is a bit different. It's if you hit the collider, it doesn't matter. You just get bumped and you can't go through it. However, if you land on the collider, you will respawn. Then the wall collider is just a collider where you can't actually boost or drift on it, or start drifts or things like this. It's just considered a wall. So if you're on the wall, you will slide on it, and you can't jump from it. And finally, the ground collider, which is where you drive, jump, and everything like this. So, quite big introduction. So what we want to do, as we are still following the wiki, we have ground wall and what respawn, yes. So now we have to add the colliders to our meshes. So before doing this, if you did the whole managing of creating the whole asset, you know how it works. So this is not the case because I just gotten this from somewhere, from the internet. So this, as we said, this untitled thingy here, that we will rename into Rainbow Road. This is our map. So each object here, you can see, contains a mesh renderer, which, as I said just before, is literally displaying some information. So meshes just mean that it has a mesh, a form. It actually looks like something, and it uses a material, which uses a texture, and there you go. You have what you want. So I had never looked at this Rainbow Road asset, so I'm really happy from what I see, because there's not much to see, because I had other things with like 1,000 objects or renders to do. So here, the first thing we'll have to do is let's separate everything between environment, walls, and road. So here we have environment, we have road, but we don't have walls, so I'm going to create empty and call it walls. So there, we have 32000. Now we have our folders to be able to differentiate easily everything. So let's look at the different parts of the map. So when you have something selected here in the hierarchy, you can actually just move your mouse into the scene, to the viewport, press F, and it will, no, this is fortunate. Press F and it will focus on what you have. So here, since it's the map, it's focusing on this. If I click again on it, it's going to move me at the center of the object. If I click again, going to go to have a global visualization of it. If I select this one, for example, I just move my cursor, press F, I can see it. Also, you can move using the scroll, right click, and things like this. This is probably just Unity knowledge, so you'll learn with a bit of time. But the F is pretty useful. So let's get back to this. So this is probably only the track, but we'll keep this for later on. This is this castle. So let's move it to environment because, oh yeah, I forgot this. Yeah, because this is not something we want to collide with. So there's no need to have a collider on it. It will just add some things that we don't want to. So just we won't be adding colliders to it. So as you saw, I couldn't actually move it because it's a prefab, because it's an FBX, so it's already finished and compacted information. So what we are going to do if we want to move it is right-click on it, prefab, unpack. Here you can see it's not blue anymore because it's not actually dependent from this anymore. If I want to move it, I can. So let's take this one, move it into environment. We won't know it's environment. Let's click there. F, it's things around, so we're going to still call it environment. This is, what the hell is it? This is a camera. Camera? Okay, go. This is useless, so let's just remove it. This one, what's that? It's, oh, it's the small balloons you can see here. So this can be considered as just environment. So let's put it into environment. This one is another camera. Yep, exactly. So let's just remove it again. Those. Okay, so those are walls. Since those are walls, what we're going to do is move this into wall. This is the Mario Kart Super Circuit. It's the two poles here. I don't think it's this one there. Just check it out. Oh, so okay, so this is the wall, so it means that also this super circuit is on it, so it's not an issue. But we'll do it like this. So I said this was the two poles, so like this put into walls. This one is small pads. Are those small pads? I'm not sure about the map, but I suppose this is boost pads. Things like this. Uh, since I have no clue what it is, I'll just move it into environment so nothing collides with it and see what we'll do with it afterwards. This is part of the skybox, so environment. This is skybox, so environment. This is skybox, so environment. This is skybox, so environment. Skybox, so environment. Boom. Walls again, okay. So walls. And this. Those are stars. So let's just consider its environment. There you go. And we have our road. Let's go. So now I'm moving in this to road. There you go. Everything doing well. I actually don't need this anymore, so we'll just delete it. Let's save it now. Now I will just environments. I will do nothing with all those because it's not going to collide. So I'll just close this. Now walls. Those three. You can select those three. You can see sometimes it has some lines because they are mixed values, which means because this one is 008, 009, and they all have different materials. Though we can still manipulate all of those at the same time for things that we want to do at the same time. For example, these are walls. Since they are walls, I want to add some mesh colliders to fit what they are. So because it's a mesh collider, it will actually take the form of the mesh. This is why we don't need to have it. It doesn't matter if we have a mixed value here. But however, since these are walls, here, layer, wall, collider. Since it's only here, we might want to have something like flat respawn, but I don't think it's useful. So just wall collider is fine for now. Then I close this and the road. I have the road here, and I think you understood what I had to do. Mesh collider. It's using the correct mesh layer ground. There you go. So here I have done all my colliders. Let's check the wiki again. So track colliders. One is wall colliders plus debugging. Okay, so extra colliders. Yes, so this is something we might want to do, and we will do for now. So I'm going to create a new game object. Well, I will call invisible walls, because it's not, there won't be any meshes. And once I have this, I will create empty into it and call it, for example, dev zone. You can create dev zone, for example, if you want to make it impossible to cut some things or some things like this. However, I'm not going to use it for like this for now. But the thing is, if you don't have a death zone underneath your map, you will actually fall and never respawn. So what we're going to do is to get this death zone, set it as always respawn. So if someone hits it, it will respawn. And let's choose the box collider. Then just to see where it is, I'm going to set it to this death zone 0. And then I'll just click on edit collider to be able to see the collider. Now that I see the collider, I can try and put this under the map. So the size is really big. So what I'm going to do is to set this to 10, so it's just underneath. And then here you have your, I have no clue how this is called again. You can click on each side to see from specific places. And if you click on the middle, you can stop looking as FOV and just using isometric view, not the isometric, the straight view. And here we can see, for example, I have this. So I don't need the environment because it hides some things. So I will remove the environment visibility there. And here I can see this is the track, and there, select the dead zone, and it's a bit too high there. So I'm going to change the center of it, either the object or the box collider. This doesn't really matter. So it's not this one, it's actually Y. So let's go down there and let's make it a bit bigger. So like this, if someone falls, they will respawn. Just I want to see what this is. Okay, this is not an issue. Okay, so there you go. Trouble, and now it's good. So is it fine if I look here? Looks good. Maybe a bit more on the C side. There you go. And moving it a bit like this. So you can add as many as you want if you want more specific places. For example, I could add one here just for this part, because else they're going to fall until there. This is polish, and we're not going to go to do this now because it would just take some time for nothing. So there you go. This is the death zone. I won't cover the splines for now because it's the Rainbow Road. So let's for now just pass this. We don't need it for now. I'm going through it. Ground colliders, custom environment, things like that. Okay, so nice. Now, after colliders, you have debugging colliders. So you have this great tool. Let's just save this and just get back the environment. You have this great tool. Here in pixel tools, you have an inverter tools and inverter colliders preview. So this permits to say here, oh, you have a collider which doesn't have a layer. For example, you set a collider, but you forgot to set the wall collider. This will tell you, oh, you have this. And this is the same thing on the other side. You have something that has a collider, for example, wall collider or ground collider, but actually has no colliders. So this is really, really great to see. And this button is live too. If you click on it, you only see things that have colliders and have a collider layer. And as you see, it's great because I can see that indeed everything that I want from the whole asset to be collided is colliding. This is good. Looking at those, yes, so exactly the same thing as I said. Let's just go into the gameplay setup core. And we'll see this in the next part because this part was already really long. So, but at least now you know how to create your stuff from colliders to death zones, invisible colliders, and to be able to debug and see like I'm missing something or not. There you go. I'll see you in the next one.